All right. Hello and welcome to the Philippines. We are here at JRC Visa Consultancy and Immigration Services in Cebu City, right across from Ayala Mall. And anyway, we're going to have kind of an update on the immigration situation here for all the expats, people wanting to come here. Number of issues. We've got a new president, new administration, and JR is going to talk about some of the issues, some of the problems he's run into with some of the expats trying to process their visas. So hand it over to you, JR.
Hi Rod. It's been a long time and I'm happy to see you again. And thank you for having me back again into your channel. Yes, there are a lot of things to talk about. Nothing so much of the major changes right now, but there are improvements along the way. As what Rod mentioned regarding the new administration, apart from the new administration of the Philippine government, which is our president, there's also a new Bureau of Immigration Commissioner that was in place this year. So that was sometime in place for mid of last year. And then there are some improvements along the way. There are moves to make the immigration facilities into a better facility for foreigners. They're working hand in hand with the Department of Tourism also. And one of the major changes that they're actually taking a look at right now is the annual report. The annual report, which they have actually done in which they have actually extended to few of the Robinsons malls here in the Philippines, basically in Luzon. And the Bureau of Immigration main office also will be soon moving to their new building in Pasay City from Intramuros, Manila. Those are the major things that you're gonna take a look at, and I know the new administration of the Bureau of Immigration is really taking a look at into improving their services so that it will be much more easier to our foreign friends to be coming over to the Philippines. Of course, it's not an overnight story, but at least there's a little progress or baby steps along the way. So here, one of the things that I actually highlighted with Rod also prior to this video is sharing some of our experiences with some visa applications. So basically our firm, the JRC Visa Consultancy and Immigration Services, which has our main office in Cebu City. That's the central city in the Central Visayas, that's located in the mid part of the Philippines, in which we also have some branches also down in Mindanao, in Davao City, and will be coming up into Luzon area, which will be announced soon once they're already open. But rest assured, we're doing that for us to help you with wherever are you in the Philippines, so that we will be nearer to you. So one of the things that we'll be sharing to you is we bump into the situation of a retirement visa applicant, a retiree that has the intention to apply for the retirement visa. Unfortunately, that particular application was being put on hold by the Bureau of Immigration because he has a derogatory, or he has a whole departure order or alert order not to leave the country, alert list to be specific, or alert list order, which is a specific list of foreigners that are not allowed to leave the country or being pinpointed because of they have a case. So what happened is there are a lot of assumptions along the way, because if a foreigner committed civil case or any cases in the Philippines, either civil or criminal, those particular courts will actually notify the Bureau of Immigration for them to take appropriate action on that particular foreign national. So it will be an assumption that there is actually a communication between the courts in the Philippines and the Bureau of Immigration, which is actually on monitoring all the foreigner. Once a foreigner have a case in the Philippines, then the courts will actually notify the Bureau of Immigration to have the proper holding of or notification of those foreign nationals for them to actually settle their case in the Philippines. Now, once you have settled your case or the case is dismissed, it would not outrightly erase or nullify the notification from the Bureau of Immigration Records. Now, that particular applicant have the assumption that that particular case, once being relayed to immigration and was dismissed, will be erased in the system of the Bureau of Immigration, which is not. So there are still procedural processes along the way for them to lift the right terminologies right now, as per the view of the Bureau of Immigration, is to lift or cancel that particular record, such as alert list order, blacklist order, watch list order, so that you will not be questioned during your travel or in and out in the Philippines. So that is one thing that is very important. Of course, there are also gray areas of that, and one of that is there might be instances that you will be you will have a question as a foreigner. Okay, hey JR, that particular case was dismissed. That was reported sometime 2016, and the case was 2016, and that was dismissed. And then in between that dismissal, the court actually reported that to the Bureau of Immigration, and that particular foreigner asked us, why is it that during that question, a certain date before that dismissal, he was not questioned when he get out of the country? So we explained to them that there is actually a gap of that particular case, which was actually filed on the trial courts in the Philippines, and then prior to the registration of the immigration system. So that's the reason why he was able to leave the country without question. Now after that, it was encoded a year after, then that is where the problem starts kicking in. But it does not limit to a foreigner to actually put a motion on that. He can actually make an appeal, he can actually make a process, but what we wanted you to let you know as of this time, if you have such case, make sure that you have all the paperwork that it's dismissed or not, because otherwise, if it's not dismissed, you need to settle that. If it's dismissed, you need to have a paperwork for you to have an attachment on your appeal to the Bureau of Immigration, because otherwise it will actually affect your application process. Because partly, like for example, retirement visa is under a government office in what we call government owned and controlled corporation, under the mandate of the Department of Tourism, which is one of the agencies of the Philippine government. Their task is to really invite people to come into the Philippines, especially for foreigners, to live here, relocate here. And under the Department of Tourism is the retirement office. The PRA is a body or an office that cannot issue visa. They are an endorsing party to the Bureau of Immigration, which will be the rightful office to approve any visa application, because that office is only the one authorized to approve and issue visa. So then again, once the retirement office will actually screen out your qualification for the retirement visa, it does not mean that it will not go through the process of the Bureau of Immigration. Immigration will actually check it from your derogatory check. If you have some what do you call that, cases or crimes that was committed in the Philippines, or there will be a notification from your country of origin, they are actually on that database. Now that database might be varying from some circumstances. So nevertheless, don't assume. Once you have something make sure that it is been factual and you have proper documentation out of that. So that is just an overview, because that is very important. It's not the end of the line for those foreigners who are already in the Philippines bumping into that problem. And once you actually bump into this problem, let us know and we can actually help you with that. We have our counsel in our firm, and we will actually evaluate what will be the best possible option for you. I think that would be very important information that you need to consider as of this time, because it will not be the end of the line for you.
And from what I hear, I've been here 7 years now, and I'm surprised the number of people who tell me, yeah, they've had some issues, so the civil or criminal,
yes,
and or they know somebody who has. So, they all, the longer you're here, the more you hear the stories. And
Yes.
I don't know a lot of the details, but I do know of one or two cases that have been held up. They want to apply for a certain visa, and they didn't even know about it. They didn't even know something was filed against them over some little altercation many years ago. And that's holding up the whole thing at this point in time. So
Yes.
we're trying to work through that.
Yes, and also during the application process, one of the major requirements is a police search on a nationwide level in the whole Philippines. That is what we call NBI clearance. So NBI clearance, because we bump into most of the visa application involves NBI clearance, either the Bureau of Immigration or the Retirement Office. And sometimes not most, but there are several number of foreigners who get back to, "Jay, what happened? Because my NBI clearance is not released." No, don't be alarmed. That is one way. As long as you know yourself that you don't commit any crimes in the Philippines, and you're totally like being innocent about that, or not basically innocent, but you know it by itself that you don't commit any crime as far as your memory is concerned. Don't be alarmed, because the NBA clearance would like to validate, because even to the point of a similar name or first name or last name, they would validate if it's you. So if that is on a normal course of interview. So once they found out that it's not you, there's a little bit similarities to the point, like not the real name, not the entire name. Even for the first name, they would validate it, because that's their also task, or that they are mandated to do that, because they're part of one of the government agencies who actually maintain the peace and order of the country. Don't be alarmed. Just go there. If you have once again, if we're talking about cases right now, if you have some cases and you have already have the case dismissed, bring a copy, and that would actually help a lot. As of this time, I would like to say that just a disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer yet, so pardon me if I'll be touching more on if I may touch any sensitive issues regarding which relates to legal matters. So I'm not the right person for that, but our counsel will be assisting you just in case you need any.
You have 2 lawyers on staff?
Yeah,
No?
we have.
2 lawyers?
Yeah,
and
we retain
accountant?
their services, and we actually help them, because we know that for the immigration side, there's a lot of legal implications that needs to be factored in. And we want actually to help our foreign friends who would like to seek some assistance out of it.
Okay. So you, and just touching, you have some other services. Your main focus is on immigration services, visas for foreigners, all the different types, retirement visa, visa extensions, tourist visas, as well as marriage visas.
Yes.
And there are a couple other work visas. There are a number of other visas I wasn't aware of until I met you. I find out there are other types of options as well. So if you're hitting a dead end, come and talk to JR, because he might have some solutions.
Yeah, there are a lot of visas. Like the Bureau of Immigration itself has a lot of visas, and we're just talking about the most common ones.
Yeah.
The 13A, the virtue of marriage to a Filipino national or Filipino citizen, and it would vary on the national. So there might be different terminologies. The 9G working visa that you mentioned. There is what we call the SIR. The SIRB is not actually under the Bureau of Immigration, but it's on a special office, just like the Philippine Retirement Authority, which is the SRRB, the Special Residence Retirees Visa, or what we call in layman's term is retirement visa in the Philippines. There's also investors visa. There's also a PECO. There's a lot of visas. We just need to figure out what you really need, so that you'll be home, so you will be actually living the rest of your life here in the Philippines. That is the main objective.
Okay. So you also do business consulting?
Yes, we
You
do.
help with all the regulatory, starting a business or renewing permits and licenses? all that type of thing. You're involved in that.
Yes.
You have people who are experiencing that.
One of our lawyers actually is an accountant by profession. So in terms of guidance, we can also guide you with that. But our main focus right now would be visa for inbound travelers going to the Philippines, for foreigners going here, wanting to live here, and also for former Filipinos, reacquisition of their Filipino citizenship, recognition, forming part of that. Alongside with it, as a profession, is I'm also a licensed real estate broker, but for the appraiser side, I'm not really practicing that much, but it would be forming part to really give insights or recommendation to our foreign friends. As of now, we are developing the structure of our real estate, and soon we'll be full blast with that because we wanted really to help you out. Like for example, if you're gonna go through a purchase, you need to have some due diligence at stake right now. We would highly recommend that you would check the property first, check your initial agreements, which will also be reflected on the contract itself. So part of that is if the registered owner or the one that you talk to is the legal representative, how would you determine it? Second is if the registered owner had passed away, what are the cost implications? Estate tax would come in, and also the transfer cost. What is the breakdown? How would you further understand that? That is where we come into play. So basically, we are more on the consultancy side. There are clients of ours that would like, hey JR, I have some property up for sale. Probably you can offer it to your clients. We can also do that. Rentals, not so much this time, but we'll be exploring. So thereafter, we just actually wanted to enhance our service so that we can actually help you out, especially when you would like to relocate here in the Philippines. As far as you know, you're in a foreign land, you're exploring and you wanted to find a home that would be different. And I would feel also the same way that you do when, well, we would like also to relocate in your country.
Okay. Very good. I think that we covered quite a bit of territory there. Anything else you'd like to add?
Still we are, I think, okay, as of now we are open in terms of we are getting flexible. The Philippine government is getting flexible in terms of the restrictions, and I'm happy to know about that. And regarding of the question abroad, is something to add. We are actually wanting to operate on a scale of the entire Philippines. We are actually on the process for that. Probably we have some friends in Angeles City where we will be there soon, and we would like to meet you one of these days. And if you will be there, please feel free to contact us. And if you need some assistance, then just let us know.
Yeah, and even if they're back in their home country, you can start the process for some of the types of visas as well.
Yes.
Retirement visa, marriage visa.
Yes.
Advise them on what documents they need to bring here.
Definitely.
You know, so they don't get here and, oh, I left all this stuff at home.
Especially for the apostillization process, because any foreign document that will be presented and forming part of the requirements of the visa should be authenticated, and the authentication is what we call apostille. So we really need to take a look at that, and that should be one of the requirements that you need to prepare before going to the Philippines. For the retirement visa side, the visa deposit, because the visa deposit is an inward remittance, so it will not be a cash that will be deposited over the counter. That is not applicable because the Philippine government is also taking a look at that particular situation not to be abused in a way of money laundering. So those are the things that you need to those are just tidbits. So if you wanted to go deeper, just let us know and we will be happy to guide you along the way.
All right, very good. Thanks, JR.
And thank you, Rod, and for the subscribers of Rod, and good to see you again, and we'll be looking forward to see you in the Philippines, not just in Cebu, probably in Davao, probably in Manila, wherever you will be, and probably we can actually have a drink with Rod, me and you.
All right, yeah, that's right. You've got several offices now around the nation, so very interesting to see you grow. All right, very good. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.